knows he's in the Premier League, so we'll be battling it week in, week out.
And he's missed inside and doesn't get another match start. Turns away in disgust. Oh.
This is what happened when the world's best darts player lost his cool on the biggest stage in the sport, and the man he tried to embarrass made him pay for every single dart. April 2nd, 2026, Manchester, Night 9 of the Premier League. Luke Littler walks into the AO Arena as table leader, carrying 21 points, having won 3 of the last 4 nights, reigning 2-time world champion, world number 1, the most talked about player in darts. His quarter-final opponent is Gian van Veen, 23 years old, Dutch, world number 3, back from kidney stone surgery that had kept him out of the previous night. By every measure that exists on paper, this should be a comfortable night for Littler. None of that mattered, because what happened in the deciding leg of that match became the only thing anyone in darts was talking about for the next 24 hours. Here is exactly what happened, why it matters, and what it tells us about where this sport is right now. Before getting into the match itself, you need to understand who these two players are and what they mean to each other. Luke Littler is 19 years old, born in Warrington, Cheshire, throwing 23-gram target darts and walking onto Greenlight by Pitbull featuring Flo Rida. 12 PDC major titles place him joint third all-time, and his 36 PDC titles total include back-to-back World Championships in 2025 and 2026, 2 UK Opens, 2 Grand Slams, the World Match Play, the Premier League, the World Grand Prix, and more. Only the 5th player ever to complete the career Triple Crown, the World Championship, the World Match Play, and the Premier League. He holds an MBE, an honorary citizenship from the city of Warrington, and a 10-year target darts deal signed in January 2026, reportedly worth up to £20 million. He is the most commercially valuable player in darts history. He is also 19 years old, and that last fact matters more than any of the trophies. Gian van Veen is 23 years old, born in Puigdemont in the IJE, Netherlands, and before darts consumed his life entirely, he studied aerospace engineering and earned a bachelor's degree in aviation in 2023. His nickname is The Giant. His darts weigh 21 grams and carry the Red Dragon brand, and he walks on to Astronomia by Vicetone and Tony Ige. World number 3 on the PDC Order of Merit makes him the highest ranked Dutch player in the organisation, meaning he has overtaken Michael van Gerwen. 2 PDC World Youth Championships sit on his record alongside the 2025 European Championship, a 2026 World Championship final appearance where Littler beat him 7 sets to 1 and a 9-dart finish in a ranking final that he still somehow lost. He is colourblind. He is regarded by virtually everyone in the sport as one of the most respected and well-liked people on tour. And across 3 Premier League meetings with Littler, he has now beaten him twice. The head-to-head entering April 2nd stood at 7 wins for Littler and 5 for Van Veen, but 2 of those, 5 victories, had come in the Premier League, night 1 in Newcastle and now night 9 in Manchester. The table told the rest. Littler on 21 points, top of the league. Van Veen on 9 points, 6th place, 1 position outside the playoff spots. Van Veen needed to win. Littler was expected to make sure he didn't. The match itself started exactly the way the standings suggested it would, and then it completely fell apart. Best of 11 legs, first to 6, Littler held throw in the opener, Van Veen levelled in the second, and then leg 3 changed the whole complexion of the night when Van Veen landed a 128 checkout finishing on the bullseye to break Littler's throw and move 3-1 ahead. Holding for 4-1, punishing Littler's missed ball with a 56 checkout for 5-1, Van Veen was running away with it and the match looked finished, and that's when Littler decided he wasn't done. A 12-dart leg with an 87 checkout pulled 1 back, then another hold, then another, leg 6, 7 and 8 going. Littler's way to make it 4-4. Van Veen had a match dart in leg 9, going for double 16 off a 108 finish, and he missed, which meant Littler held throw to make it 5-4, then broke to level at 5-5. The momentum had swung completely. 1 deciding leg, winner takes all, and the player who had been 5-1 down was suddenly the favourite. Both players hit 180s in the decider. Van Veen left himself on 90 and went for double 15. The dart landed inside the wire. That is the moment everything changed. Here is the incident, step by step, as captured on camera and described by broadcasters. Van Veen misses double 15 and turns away from the board, facing the crowd, frustration visible, furious at himself. While his back is turned, Littler celebrates toward the Manchester crowd, a gesture that Sky Sports pundit Wayne Mardle later described on air as similar to the Simon Whitlock well done. Players react to opponents missing in darts, and that part alone would have passed without comment. But Van Veen turned back around and caught Littler mid-celebration, and that's when words were exchanged on stage. Mardle told the broadcast audience, "I can lip read, but I won't repeat what Luke said as I don't want to hand in my notice," which communicates something fairly specific about what came out of Littler's mouth. Littler then threw his arms up toward the home Manchester crowd, his people. Warrington is just down the road, and the booing directed at Van Veen started building. 3 darts to win the match sat waiting in Littler's hand. He went to the oche, went inside the wire on double 7, and missed 3 darts at doubles in total to close it out. The very thing he had just celebrated his opponent failing to do. What nobody expected was the gesture that came next. Still at the oche, having missed all 3, Littler turned to Van Veen and performed a mocking crying gesture, both fists at his eyes, and that image became the defining moment of the night. Van Veen walked back to the board through a hostile crowd, checked out on double 6, and the match was over. 6-5 to Van Veen. The handshake that followed lasted less than a second, Littler accepting it without making eye contact, then walking off stage muttering to himself, leaving Van Veen standing there, shrugging as the crowd noise continued around him. He won the match and won the moment. Littler had the home crowd, the points lead, the world ranking, the trophies, and 3 darts to close it out, and none of it was enough. Post-match, the reaction came from all directions and it came fast. Van Veen went straight into his interviews, measured and direct. His words to Sky Sports were, "I missed the double 15 and I looked around and I was fuming with myself that I missed, and I looked around and he was celebrating that I missed. That was out of order. I was fuming about that." The follow-up was just as telling. "I love Luke to bits. He's a fantastic player and guy for the sport, and to see all the attention he's brought to it is phenomenal. But this is also part of it as well, and today was my day." On Viaplay, the Dutch broadcaster, he went slightly further, saying, "He's a fantastic darts player, but today he showed he's not a good loser." The crying gesture got its own response. "I'm on 90, I missed double 15 on the inside, and then I see him celebrating towards the crowd. I don't think that's normal. The fact he then misses 3 darts at a double, that's his problem." That last sentence landed harder than anything else said all night, because Van Veen hadn't needed to do anything extra. The darts had already made the point.
Like from my perspective, I missed the double 15 and I looked around and because I was fuming with myself that I hit it on the inside, and I looked around and he was like doing this towards the crowd. He was celebrating me missing. I was like, that's out of order, and I was fuming about that, and I don't know, he probably saw it and he missed 3 darts at double 7 and he looked at me like I was the problem. I was like, I don't know what I did wrong because you're celebrating me missing, and I thought that was out of order. He missed, I took it out, and yeah, he's probably fuming, but you know, that starts and that's my perspective. Probably his perspective is a different side of it, but this is what I think, and yeah, that's it. I love Luke to bits. He's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic guy for the sport as well. You know, to see all the attention he's brought to the sport is phenomenal. But you know, this is also part of it, and today was my day.
Mardle's broadcast analysis on Sky Sports gave the most detailed account of the sequence, naming the gesture, explaining the chain of events, and then delivering the line that defined the evening. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He won't be doing that again. Gerwyn Price, who won night 9 overall, with a semi-final average of 112.91 and a 170 checkout, offered something different, expressing genuine sympathy for Littler and drawing on his own history. "I've been in that situation," Price told reporters. "That's part and parcel of darts. Emotions are up and down, it's a roller coaster. Sometimes you need to be a bit annoyed and get those reactions, otherwise what's the point?" he added. Things like this happen in darts. I'm sure in a couple of weeks it will be done and dusted. I feel for the kid at the minute. That sympathy from Price means something specific, because Price spent years as the most controversial figure in the sport. Widely booed, widely criticised for his conduct on stage, he knows what the backlash costs and he knows how long it lasts. Littler gave no verbal post-match interview. His response came through Instagram stories, and it consisted of 2 posts. The first was a screenshot of his major trophy wins with the caption, "Good night, God bless, thank you, Manchester." The second was Van Veen's post-match interview quotes, accompanied by 3 laughing crying emojis. No apology, no acknowledgement of what had happened. 3 emojis chosen and posted deliberately, which is not an impulse. That is a decision. Now here is why this matters beyond one quarter-final result. Van Veen came into night 9 returning from kidney stone surgery, having been forced to withdraw from night 7 in Dublin on March 19th, sitting 6th in the table on 9 points with no match win since night 4 in Belfast. He beat the world number 1 in the deciding leg, then beat Josh Rock in the semi-final with a 160 checkout to close the match, then reached the night final before Gerwyn Price beat him 6-2. 3 points earned on the night, a jump to 5th in the table, and a performance that reminded the whole Premier League field he was back in the conversation. The composure he showed while under genuine psychological pressure from his opponent and from the crowd deserves attention here. Manchester was pro-Littler, the booing was real, and Van Veen stood on that stage after the handshake with nobody to celebrate with, being jeered by 15,000 people and shrugged. That is not nothing. That is someone who has spent years developing the ability to handle hostile environments, from development tour events through to a World Championship final where he absorbed a 7-1 defeat in front of the whole sport and came back the following season as world number 3. For Littler, the implications carry more complexity. Top of the table still, the most titles, and only 19 years old, but a pattern has been forming around him, and Give Me Sport and others tracked it back through the season. The 2025 World Championship produced an emotional outburst after crowd booing, including remarks about ticket money paying his wages. Michael van Gerwen went public before the 2026 season with criticism about Littler consistently arriving late to press duties, and now, a deciding leg quarter-final where 3 darts sat waiting and his focus had drifted to taunting his opponent instead. Social media ran one direction and one direction only. Comments collected by Give Me Sport, Sport Bible and British Brief described the moment as extremely immature, called Littler insufferable, and returned repeatedly to the same observation. Of all people, he tries picking out Gian van Veen, the most innocent and respectful man on tour. The Instagram response did nothing to slow any of it down. The question underneath all of this is whether the mocking gesture and the doubling down online represent genuine competitive frustration from a teenager who has almost never been made to feel the experience of losing and has not yet learned how to process it, or whether it represents something more calculated, a persona being constructed deliberately. 3. Laughing crying emojis posted with a screenshot of someone else's interview. Quotes suggest the latter. There is a larger story running through all of this about what this rivalry means for darts going forward. Littler at 19 and Van Veen at 23 are the 2 youngest elite players in the sport, and their head-to-head record across all formats reflects genuine balance over time, even with the trophy count sitting nowhere near even. The World Championship final went to Littler 7-1. The Premier League has gone to Van Veen twice. Those are different competitions testing different things, and the combination of results tells you these 2 players will be competing for the same events for the next 15 years. After Manchester, those future meetings carry a charge that wasn't there before. 7 nights of league play still remain in the 2026 Premier League before finals night at the O2 in London, and the standings have genuine movement in them. Littler sat on 21 points after the Manchester exit. Price climbed to 19 points after winning the night. Clayton held at 19. Van Gerwen remained in contention at 13. Van Tioed Dalbashissai May. Veen moved to 5th, still outside the top 4 playoff positions, but with ground available to make up. None of that arithmetic changes what happened on stage in the deciding leg, and none of it changes the fact that Price's sympathy was rooted in experience. The backlash from moments like that one, he would know, does not resolve quickly, and a response via Instagram consisting entirely of mocking emojis tends to extend it rather than end it. So where does this leave everything? What happened on April 2nd in Manchester was not simply a quarter-final loss. Van Veen, the player everyone assumed would be the stepping stone in Littler's night, won the match, held his composure while the crowd and his opponent worked against him, delivered 2 composed post-match interviews that ran everywhere, then went on to reach the night final before losing to a player who averaged nearly 106 for the evening. 3 points gained, 5th place in the table, and a reputation in the sport that came out of Manchester considerably stronger than it went in. Littler had the winning shot in his hand 3 times in that deciding leg and did not convert any of them, left without looking Van Veen in the eye, doubled down on Instagram, and remained top of the Premier League table on 21 points. All of those things are true, simultaneously. The trophies are real, the points lead is real, and the talent is beyond argument. And yet, the moment that defined Night 9 was 3 missed darts at doubles by the world number 1, thrown while he was busy celebrating someone else's miss. The standings will keep shifting, the trophies will keep arriving, but the deciding leg of that Manchester quarter-final, on a night when the world number 1 had 3 darts to close it out and threw none of them where they needed to go, is the moment Night 9 of the 2026 BetMGM Premier League will be remembered for. Littler and Van Veen will share a stage again before this season ends. After Manchester, those future meetings carry a weight that changes what they mean entirely.